Well, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to East Mecklenburg High School. Welcome our top administrators here to East Mecklenburg, as well as the media. We're very honored to be able to host this back-to-school media briefing at East Mecklenburg. At East Mecklenburg, our teachers and parents and students are very proud of this school. And we say a quote a lot of times, which I've kind of got going here at East Mecklenburg, is we tell my staff and students to plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win every day. And we're very proud of coming off a great year last year where we met growth here at East Mecklenburg, high growth, and met our AMO hitting 25 out of 25 targets. So we're excited about a great year that we had last year and looking again to move up the ladder of excellence this year with the 2012-2013 school year. So again, I just want to thank you guys for being here today for this media briefing. At this time, I'd like to introduce our superintendent. He is a man on a mission to move the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools from a good school district to a great school district. And he has said before, if you're passionate about what you do, why wouldn't you want to be great? He is building deep relationships with our community. He's building relationships with our students and especially our teachers. So we're very, very proud of that. He is a very caring person when I've already talked to him several times. And he is, I admire his patience and looking to understand what's going on and then be understood in his mission here at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our superintendent, Dr. Heath Marshall.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. It is such a pleasure to be at this school, and it really is not only our opportunity to update our community about the opening of schools, which is such an important part of our year-round calendar, but to celebrate the things that are so wonderful about the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District. And we were very intentional and specific about picking East Mecklenburg as the site that we wanted to have this media briefing. As Rick alluded, through the focus of an amazing principal, talented, hardworking teachers, support staff who understand what it means to be child-focused, and a community that has rallied behind the school, including one of the most amazing alumni associations I would challenge that you could find anywhere in the country. This is a community that has celebrated what it means to be a great school. And they are on that journey as a school district, as a school, just as we are on that journey as a school district. So Rick, thank you for allowing us to be here today. Amongst the many things that you have to do, very busily getting ready for the students on Monday to host us today. We know it was an imposition, but we appreciate you making this available for us. And so I'd like to celebrate Rick Parker and his leadership here at East Mecklenburg High School. You may have been greeted by some strapping, amazing, good-looking young people, all wearing these EM shirts. And we have a couple in the audience today, and I'd like to ask our seniors who are modeling these shirts to stand up for a second. Okay. And what I love is I came in, I was shaking hands of each of these young people, and I was trying to ask them what they were going to do when they graduated. Most of these young people today are either juniors or seniors, and they're already having their post-secondary plans, and they look at you right now and they tell you what they're going to be. And my friend over here tells me if you want one of these T-shirts, he's not going to give them to you, okay? But they are available for purchase, which makes me believe you got an entrepreneurial spirit here in the audience. So, but you can see him afterwards. But congratulations, and it's just a pleasure to be in your school. Thank you for letting us be here today. All right. So I always, at this time when I'm visiting schools, I always like to say Happy New Year. And people look at you like, well, wait a second. New Year is in last part of December, first day of January. And that's true. We absolutely have a New Year that we celebrate. But for schools, your New Year really is at this time of year, because what we do as educators is we think very deeply and thoughtfully about what we did last year. Where did we have successes like we had here at East Meck? where were the areas that we need to do better to serve the children that we have the privilege and honor of working with each and every day, and then how do we dedicate ourselves to, in fact, doing a better job in the future. And so we start to make resolutions about being a better school district, about being a better school, about being a better teacher, principal, or superintendent. And so it really is a Happy New Year. And this Happy New Year will see the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools welcome a record-setting number of students to our 159 schools with some new and exciting initiatives, and then some additional unique opportunities with the Democratic National Convention coming to town. And so what we're going to do this morning is to update for our public all of the vast preparations and plans to get ready for the start of school. For anybody who thinks it must be great to work in the school district in June, July, and August, I promise you there is intense work being done. It is daily work, it is hard work because the parts move constantly. But our goal is that it's very much like the analogy of the duck swimming across the pond. You just see that duck, and the duck looks effortlessly as it's floating across the pond, but underneath those little feet are just going crazy. Well, that's what we want. We want a lot of work to be very intentional happening so that when we welcome students back on Monday, what they see is principals ready to welcome them, teachers in every classroom, buses running on time, and all the things that need to happen to ensure a high quality of teaching and learning right from day one. And so that is our goal. So this morning we will be reviewing enrollment, we will be reviewing our academic preparation, we will be updating you on many areas around transportation, planning, and I'm going to introduce the various folks on the table this morning. But I also want to acknowledge one of our board members here in the audience today. We have our Vice Chair of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education, Mary McCrae. And I can promise you Mary probably has the same butterflies in her stomach as a board member that she did as an educator, as we all do. It's that nice, good, nervous energy making sure that we're ready for the start of school. Mary, thank you for being here today. So I'd like to introduce the staff here at the table. And we have to my right Ann Clark, our Deputy Superintendent, and she will be updating us about our academic preparation for this year. We have Mr. Guy Chamberlain, our Associate Superintendent of Auxiliary Services, who will talk about our readiness for facilities upgrades. We have Mr. Dan Habrett, our Chief Human Resources Officer, who will update you about our readiness for getting teachers and support staff hired for the first day of school. We have Ms. Carol Stamper, our Assistant Executive Director of Transportation, to talk about all of the logistics for transporting the many students that we get back and forth from school. We have Amy Harkey, Assistant Director of Child Nutrition, who will be speaking to us about the many endeavors of her organizational aspects. Kay Hall, Director of Business Systems Technology, to talk about our technology initiatives for the year. And then we have two new members, leaders of our organization. Very happy to have them on board. You may have met them several weeks ago when they were hired. But we have Mr. Millard House, our new Chief Operating Officer. And we have Mr. Frank Barnes, our new Chief Accountability Officer. Frank and Millard, we welcome you to Charlotte-Mecklenburg and the family of schools. And so we will go ahead and get started with Ann, who will give us an update about the Common Core, the Smith Family Center, and immunizations.
All right, let me start with the most exciting work for the summer. We've trained over 9,000 teachers as of today in our Common Core effort, and started the summer with the Summer Teacher Conference, where we had over 2,000 teachers in attendance, followed in July by our Summer Leadership Conference, where we trained our principals, assistant principals, literacy and academic facilitators, as well as central office staff. And then beginning last Thursday, we welcomed our new teachers, and literally this week we are training 9,000 teachers and getting them ready to implement the Common Core. The Common Core is certainly, I hope, not something you've never heard of before. You're going to be hearing a lot more about it as we ready now our students to begin learning more about the Common Core and what it will expect of them in the coming year. And we'll have frequent updates to the Board of Education over the course of this year on our progress with the Common Core as we move toward next June and the first opportunity for our students to be assessed. I do want to update everyone on the Smith Family Center, and emphasis on that word family. We now have that location in our district where all of our families entering the district from outside of Charlotte-Mecklenburg or needing information can go to one location and have all of their needs met. So at the Smith Family Center on Tavilla Road, we have our Pre-K Bright Beginnings program, we have our English as a Second Language program, we have our Magnet office, we have Parent University, We have our Exceptional Children's Division. We have our Family Application Center. We also have Student Services. And joining that team very shortly after the opening of school will be our After School Enrichment Office. So we're very excited about this opportunity for our families to have one location that they can go to and have all of their needs met. I will also remind our parents that we have a nurse at that location who can be very helpful to families understanding the expectations in North Carolina as it relates to immunizations. And that's my final topic for this morning, and I do want to let our media representatives know that Nancy Langenfeld, who leads our Coordinated School Health Initiative, is here in the office. If you have detailed questions at the end of the briefing, she's available, and we certainly can use your help in pushing out our emphasis on immunizations for our parents with entering kindergarten students, a need to bring your entire immunization record to the school. Sometimes when parents register, they come without that information, and then it slips their mind that they need to come back and bring that documentation so that we're very clear that all of the required immunizations are in place. Something new that the state of North Carolina introduced several years ago is a need for a Tdap immunization for our rising sixth graders. And this is just a reminder to all our parents having students entering the exciting middle school level that with that comes something that our students might not be too excited about, and that is a need to get that Tdap shot before they return to school. We will be having some big shot Saturdays as we have had in the past, and starting in the middle of September. The health department is also available to support families with a review of immunizations and getting students on a pathway to get that process completed. But clearly our message around immunizations is please get that documentation to the school. School nurses are available to do an assessment and let parents know exactly what is needed. And there has been communication all summer regarding our deadlines and expectations for the immunizations. So please help us by getting that paperwork to our schools so that our students can stay in school and on task. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Next, we're going to hear from Scott McCauley, our Executive Director of Student Placement, Athletics, and Alternative Programs, who will give an update about our enrollment patterns and what's happening in CMS this year.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison, and good morning. Sorry about that. Good morning. This is an exciting time of year as we welcome, for the first time, over 140,000 students to Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. We expect just a little over 140,000, 140,010 to be exact. This is nearly 2,000 student growth from last year. Last year we had just over 138,000 students in our district. This continues our many years of enrollment growth. We grew nearly 2,300 students the year prior, and we do expect to meet that enrollment projection for this school year. Also, we'll be welcoming nearly 3,100 pre-K students to our schools as well. And as we have moved from centers to schools, those students will be located in our school sites. Just a reminder for parents, it's incredibly important as we begin the school year, if you're a new parent to our school system, is to enroll immediately at your school. And I can't emphasize that enough because it impacts so many different things. It impacts transportation. It impacts the ability for the school, particularly for our secondary schools, to start a schedule. So we want that student to be ready to go, ready to learn on the first day of school. So we're really emphasizing this year is to get everyone in a seat on the first day of school so that learning and instruction can occur right away. We don't want students coming later. I know that our school year starts Monday, August 27th, and we have a great event that will be occurring the next week. But certainly, again, it's very important that we get everyone started on that first day of school. As Ann mentioned, we have a new location for our student placement office at the Smith Family Center. That location is at 1600 Tyvola Road. That's a different location than where we were last year on Marsh Road, so it'll be important for our families to make note of that. We anticipate that this will hopefully be more convenient for families since that is on a bus line and will be much more accessible to our families. This is a very busy time in the student placement office. That's obviously a good thing, but we do advise families, if they can, come very early in the morning or later in the afternoon and avoid the lunchtime crunch. We're there to assist our families, certainly with hardship caregivers, for those families who may have a child that is not their biological child or their child through the legal court system. So we would certainly advise those families to consult with the student placement office in that regard. Again, we're very excited to serve just over 140,000 families for this coming year, and look forward to answering questions that our families and serving those families in the Mecklenburg area.
So in order to prepare for all of our students, and especially with so many new students, we need to make sure we have quality teachers in every classroom. So to update our hiring and human resources is Dan Haber.
Good morning. So it's my real pleasure to speak to you about our staffing goals and what we've achieved this year. You know, after 3 years of significantly unpredictable funding levels and therefore staffing levels, 2012-13 represents a return to strategic growth and predictable strategic growth for the district. We began attracting high caliber candidates in January. And I'll steal the motto from East Mech: we have been planful, prepared, and we expect to deliver high quality teachers in every classroom. And we began, as I mentioned, in January with recruiting activities on college campuses, strategic advertising campaigns in markets where we believe we could attract experienced urban teachers to the district. Our Project Lift efforts have been specific in their sourcing of targeted subject areas for those classes, and we've benefited from that as a district. And then we've pursued a process of allowing our staff to explore opportunities within the district in the March timeframe around what we call a transfer period. And then we continue into March and into April and into May and throughout the whole summer selecting and choosing those high caliber teachers to join the district. I'm proud to announce that this year we'll begin school with 99% of our teacher positions filled. That leaves us with approximately 96 vacancies across the district. Overall, as a whole district of 18,000 employees, we will similarly start with about 99% fill rate. So that speaks to our bus drivers ready to deliver our children to school, our cafeteria workers ready to serve meals. Across the board, we're feeling very strong and confident both about our ability to attract high quality people, select them, and have them ready for the first day of school. What this means from some numbers perspective is 98 of our schools are fully staffed. 41 of our schools have less than 2 vacancies. 22 of our schools have less than 5 vacancies. And there isn't a school in CMS that has more than 5 vacancies as of this morning. Our vacancies are distributed equally across our zones. In the past, there's been a lot of attention given to our central elementary zones, our central secondary zones. Very strong and specific efforts at attracting talent to those schools so that we're ready for the opening of schools. From a subject perspective, where we have our highest areas of need to fill yet are in elementary, in math, in ESL, and in arts. So I mentioned it's not just about filling the position, it's about having high caliber talent. CMS follows a very intensive selection process, and it includes a writing submission, it includes an online interview process that explores innate talent around classroom engagement, passion for teaching, a drive for results, and a very important aspect that we've been focused on this year is a belief that every student can succeed. Similarly, schoolhouses follow very thoughtful processes in vetting finalist candidates, including pedagogical reviews, classroom management skills, and the cultural fit to that schoolhouse. And then lastly, we do a thorough job of reviewing every single candidate that joins the CMS family from a background check perspective, both drug and criminal reviews. Thank you.
So obviously, as you hire, you want to have great places for those teachers to do their important work. And so next, I would like to ask Guy to update us about facilities, mobiles, and overall building readiness.
Thank you, sir.
As a result of the 2007 bond referendum, we were able to take over 600 classrooms out, mobile classrooms, out of service and mothball those in place. Over the last 2 years, we've been bringing a number of those back into service. We've also been disposing of those that are 40 and 50 years old, so that we've got an inventory of mobile classrooms that are in pretty good shape. This year, we are putting 112 of those back into service, 37 of which are mothballed units that are going to stay at their respective campuses. Just going to open them back up. We've moved furniture in. They're clean. They're ready to go. We've moved 75 mobiles to other campuses. The total cost of this endeavor has been right at $3 million. This year we will have 982 mobile classrooms in service. The most mobile classrooms will still be at Torrance Creek, as was the case last year. The good news is we've broken ground and are building a replacement or a new school which will provide relief for Torrance Creek. So next year Torrance Creek should have no mobile classrooms. Coming in number 2 is Albemarle Road Elementary School, and number 3 Collinswood Elementary School. On the facility side, we were able to do over $14 million worth of various repair and renovation projects over the summer. That's a lot of work in a 2-month period of time. We had to do the planning, we had to do the design, award the contracts, but we've covered the district with a whole variety of projects. Total projects is 184 different projects, includes things like chiller replacements, a fairly big job that ensures the reliability of the mechanical systems in our schools, 18 boiler replacements, HVAC controls at a number of locations, plumbing work, unit ventilator projects. You can see a lot of focus on indoor air quality, domestic hot water, HVAC cleaning, 19 playground replacements and repair projects, a number of athletic projects, bleacher repairs, 2 track resurfacings, 4 tennis court resurfacings, 20 flooring projects, 11 painting projects, 29 various site improvements, including road improvements, patching holes in the pavement, fire alarm, and 1 intercom project. These projects have all been complete with the exception of a couple playground projects that we knew we wouldn't complete because we did not get the equipment until just a few weeks ago, but they will be complete in the first few weeks of school. On the capital side, we are turning over Alexander Graham Gym expansion. If you get a chance to see it, it has really transformed that facility. And we've added we've basically repaired and replaced the pavement at South Neck High School, 365 student parking places there. In addition, we have 4 major capital construction projects underway. Bain Elementary School replacement, which will open up next year, Torrance Creek Relief Project, which will also open up next year, as well as McClintock and Pineville replacements. Pineville is going to be a LEED certified facility. It'll be our first LEED project that we've done. I would offer that all of our facilities have sustainability elements in them, but this will be the first one where we've actually gone for LEED certification. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Guy. We also have to be very focused on getting our students safely to school, and so I'd like to ask at this time Carol to talk about buses, routing, safety, and training.
Good morning. So one of the things that we feel like families have on their refrigerator on the checklist for the opening of schools, among the book bags and the new clothes and the new shoes, are the bus schedules. So we're happy to let you know that bus schedules went out to our schools on August the 9th, and they should have been delivered to in the mailboxes or to your doorsteps for the families of CMS, certainly by now. If not, contact your school, or you can certainly contact transportation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions about those. So for opening day, we have 122,800 students that are assigned to our 953 yellow school buses that will be traveling around our county. and we'll probably travel around 106,000 miles a day. So that's similar to last year for the number of buses, but we're up about 4,000 students that are actually assigned to our buses. We are going to begin the school year with a driver for every bus, as Mr. Habrad alluded to, and we're very happy for that. A couple of things that if you will, media note, for any family that is currently enrolling in the school district since August the 3rd, or they changed an address, or perhaps they have requested an alternate stop. So between August the 4th and this Friday, August the 23rd, we will likely be able to update their bus assignment, and that update will go into effect the middle of the first week of school, or the middle of next week. Beyond that, we likely will have only minimal stop or route changes until the 3rd week of September this year, which is the week after the DNC. The reason we're doing that is for reliability and consistency, and so for some safety concerns, we would like to keep those changes minimal during that week. So we ask that families partner with us and make certain that they have arrangements to get their child to and from school, and we will put those updates and those route changes in place as quickly as we can the week of September the 10th. The child needs an alternate stop. There is a plethora of information on our website. There's a transportation service request form that members of the family can go in and complete, and let us know that they need that alternate stop or have a concern with their bus stop as it is scheduled at this time. We had a really nice annual bus driver orientation workshop last week, and among the topics that were discussed are some key elements of things that we may be facing in the next couple of weeks as we open school. Our drivers received first observer training that was presented by the Transportation Security Administration, or the TSA, in partnership with CMS Law Enforcement, and that heightened our awareness and our surroundings in this community. And I think that was very, very timely, obviously, as we're going to have a large event in our community. Transportation staff kind of went away with 3 key words: observe, assess, and report for anything that may look a little bit suspicious or a little bit odd and out of place. We did a refresher on our pre-trip and post-trip inspections. This is always something that we ask our drivers to do, obviously, after every run, and that means that as they are in a school bus parking lot and they unload their children, they need to look. Transportation kind of has our own definition of no child left behind, and that's just it. No child left behind. So the drivers are instructed to, and they do conduct those post-run inspection as well as when they park in the bus staging yards. In addition, we discussed the importance of paying attention to our young drivers. Those we want to have a very positive experience, and in some, our first experience on a yellow school bus, so we want to make sure that we have proper seating arrangements for those young ones, that we remind our drivers that for pre-K students, we only discard those or discharge those from a bus if there is an adult or a guardian at the bus stop. A couple of key phrases that we left our drivers with are patience, professionalism, and punctuality, and that's kind of our theme for this year. Lastly, our CMS Transportation Student Placement Call Center is up and running. We have been for a couple of weeks. We've already received and handled 5,560 phone calls in 2 weeks. So those folks are busy. We have about 15 of our staff members that are manning that, and I'll use that term loosely, our call center, and we'd be happy for anyone to give us a call if they have a question regarding transportation or student placement related questions. Those phone numbers, there's 2 of them that they can reach us, is 980-343-6715 or 980-343-5335. We'll be happy to help families or anyone that's calling in. We too look forward to another safe, very exciting year in our school district, and I'll be happy to answer any questions after the media briefing.
So to speak about some exciting things happening in nutrition services, we have Amy.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison. This is a unique year for us. As of July 1st of this year, the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act was put into effect. That means that starting this fall, school lunches will meet additional strict requirements. There are age-appropriate calorie levels. We have larger variety of fruits and vegetables, including subgroups. We have to have dark green, we have to have orange, we have to have red. and we have to serve legumes. So the menu is going to change some to meet all these requirements, plus reducing sodium and whole grains. Much of this we have done over the past several years in anticipation of these rules coming. We will have to teach students that they have a new plate to choose from. This new plate, what to choose, will tell students what is a full meal. And we will have this, it's on our website, it's on our CMS new Facebook page, and it is going to be on clings on the line so we can identify what a full meal is. What the students need to know is they must take a fruit or vegetable to have a complete meal. And in high school, that means they can have extra portions at no extra charge. The lunch charge this year is $2.15 for lunch and $1.90 for the pre-K lunch. We are excited to continue the online payment program, which is at paypams.com. And another big initiative, which is on our CMS front web page, our child nutrition web page, and our Facebook page, is online applications. All people have to do is hit this button, and they can get approved online. It's a rapid way of getting the free and reduced applications into the hands of people. It just went live last week. We have processed almost 2,800 online applications for free and reduced students and 4,800 paper applications. So we're hoping that we can get more of these processed as soon as possible. We are working this weekend to continue processing these meals. We have taught in 14 sessions all of our 200 managers what the new meal pattern is so they can teach their staff, and we are ready to serve about 31,000 breakfasts a day and about 97,000 lunches a day. So child nutrition is ready to go.
And then for our final update, we'd like to hear about the initiatives around Bring Your Own Technology, iPads, and technology instruction, and we're asking Kay Hall to deliver that.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about technology in our schools at the beginning of this new year. We've got a great year planned for our students. We have new tools, new ideas, and the implementation of Bring Your Own Technology. In a few weeks, we'll roll out 4,000 digital devices to be distributed to over 73 of our grant-winning schools in our district. Teachers received training at the end of the year last year and received their devices at that time. They will continue professional development throughout the school year in support of this initiative and how to integrate technology in the classroom in instruction. Teachers will share what they've learned. They'll share best practices through quarterly Connect and Reflect sessions. The Instructional Technology Department will support the school in implementation throughout the year. Then with the Bring Your Own Technology initiative, we'll begin a pilot implementation in late September. Schools that have expressed an interest will receive a readiness survey in the next few days. Pilot schools will be selected based on their planning and preparation for the rollout. The pilot will include schools across all 5 zones. We will proceed thoughtfully in planning and implementation as we continue to build out our wireless infrastructure across the district. The pilot will be handled through about 60 days. We'll do an assessment at the end of that time to determine what worked, what didn't work, make adjustments, and determine how many schools will roll out from that point forward. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank our community members who responded to our request for community participation in the BYOT District Committee. The District Committee will consist of parents, students, principals, and teachers, and we will meet in mid-September to begin the dialogue and the planning and support of this initiative as we go forward. Aside from those 2 major projects, technology must be ready to go at the beginning of school, and I'd like to share some important facts with you. CMS manages over 58,000 computing devices. In addition to that, we've implemented 5,500 tablets. 3,600 interactive whiteboards are in our district. We managed 7,000 internet phones and 13,000 network devices. Big business. This week, over 48,000 of our parents logged into Parent Assist to view the students' schedules and obtain information on the opening of school. In addition to all of this, communication is key to our success. We have over 23,000 email accounts that we manage, and we process about 1.6 million emails a month outgoing. We receive over 39 million emails a month, of which we reject 36 million due to threats, virus, and spam. Let's see, we have about 116.5 hours till the start of school. We've got boots on the ground, and we're going to have technology ready for the first day of school. Thank you.
Well, I think Kate brought some sobering focus to the conversation. I remember when I was a first-year principal, my superintendent, the week before school began, said, "Morrison, they're coming whether you're ready or not, so you may as well be ready." And CMS will be ready. We're excited. This school year, we have dedicated to being about every child, every day for a better tomorrow. And that better tomorrow is a journey for CMS of going from very good to great. And we have 140,000 reasons to be great. What we're going to do is have two separate aspects of this media briefing. The first is specifically focused on the start of school, where we've tried to address some of what we call the big rocks that need to happen to get ready for school. And we would like to take any specific questions from any of the information that's been shared at this time. Once we take care of those questions, then we're going to segue into our second aspect of this media briefing, which is to speak specifically to CMS's preparations and readiness with the Democratic National Committee coming to town. And so at this time, we would like to welcome any specific questions you have around the start of school, and then we will segue again to the preparations for the DNC.
Two questions. One for Carol, one for Ann. Carol, if parents, I ask this every year and get the answer to this, sorry. If parents have questions about where the bus is on the first day of school, which might happen, do they call the individual school or do they call your company?
We would be happy to help them, and because we can look on the GPS and tell them exactly where the buses are and the estimated time for delivery, so they can call that transportation call center number.
Okay.
We'll be happy to help them.
And Clark, Common Core, what kind of feedback are you getting from the teachers so far who have been through this?
The feedback is pretty much uniform in terms of once the teachers begin seeing the kinds of questions our students are going to be expected to answer, there's a renewed focus on the importance of this work and using these next 2 years to get our students ready. My goal for the last 2 years is to get our teachers and principals ready to lead this effort. I'm confident as we go into the school year that we have our teachers poised and ready. We'll continue to support all of our professional development for this entire school year. Will be grounded in the Common Core. So we're sending a clear message to all of our teachers that everything we do is about the Common Core. It's not I teach U.S. history and then I need to think about the Common Core. It's that I teach U.S. history, and how am I teaching U.S. history that prepares our students to be ready for a national assessment that we know is coming in 2015. So I think we started with the end in mind. We do have some sample test items that have been released by Smarter Balance, and once our teachers see the kind of performance tasks our students are going to be expected to complete, I think it gives them renewed focus on how they need to prepare the students for that opportunity. I think the most exciting thing is the bar is being raised. We've listened to what the business community has said, and when I say we, I mean our nation. They've told us they want critical thinkers, people that can solve problems and who can work in teams. And our Common Core is going to do just that for us.
How will the Common Core look different for the kids in the classroom?
I think the Common Core will look different in terms of the kinds of activities and tasks that the students are doing. I'll give you an example. It's a very basic one. I think all of us would agree we learned in kindergarten that 1 + 1 is 2. Now our students are going to be expected to explain why 1 + 1 is 2. And I think we can agree that is a very different level of expectation. to memorize and simply say 1 + 1 is 2, but to turn to another student and explain why that is the case, begins to give you a sense at the kindergarten level of the sophistication and the challenge of the assignments, the tasks, the questions, the problems the students are confronted with. I think for our elementary students who have been involved in our investigation approach to math, they're going to see very little difference. We knew the Common Core was coming, and we've been very intentional, particularly in our math for the last 3 years at the elementary and middle school level, about the approach we've taken. So our students are well positioned. Over the course of last school year and through this summer, we've been shifting our approach with literacy, and our teachers and our students will see and feel a very different approach there that will build off our good work with the Imagine-It adoption in literacy, but expose our kids to reading a variety of different types of texts, not just fiction, but nonfiction, and that will be a shift.
Is it fair to say more group work and more sort of not self-teaching, but teaching to each other?
I think it will be more problem solving, more, I wouldn't say group or individual. I think there will be opportunity for students to work in groups, but there will be individual accountability for the final product.
I happened to have the opportunity to visit, I guess, 6 schools yesterday with one of our zone superintendents, Kit Ray. And many of these schools that we visited were full bore and training on Common Core. I had a teacher last week use one of my phrases that I love, and when I asked her about preparation for the Common Core, she said a rising tide lifts all ships. And so the level of rigor for the Common Core is going to be very aspirational and very demanding. We know our students are worthy of that level of rigor. We know our teachers will be prepared to deliver it. We have an obligation as a school district to make sure that our community, and most specifically our parents, are aware of it. So we are going to be very intentional and proactive in trying to make sure our parents understand the expectations around the Common Core, understand how that's going to change our school district and the delivery of instruction, and to spend a lot of time trying to make sure that all of our parents understand what it means to have a school district with the Common Core fully prepared for it.
And to that end, we do have links on our Parent University website for our parents and anyone in the community that's interested in learning a little bit more about the Common Core. It's actually broken down elementary and secondary in literacy and math, and then a general overview. And you will hear the voices of teachers talking about what the Common Core means to them, principals, as well as other members of the school district. So I would invite our parents to take a look at those videos as an early opportunity to begin to understand with us the Common Core, and all of our schools have been tasked with sessions for parents in this first semester to take a deeper look at it.
Is there a new program that you will implement to help with the Common Core? You just tell teachers to change the way of teaching and implementing, more problem solving. Is there a program that will go in this year, or are you looking at a program that will help you with it?
I would say it's not program specific. Instead, the Common Core is a set of standards that starts in kindergarten and progresses until a student is a senior in high school. So there isn't necessarily a specific program being put in place. It's really about how do we have our students ready in kindergarten for the set of standards they're going to be expected to be successful with in first grade. So it's a building block approach, and it's not necessarily driven by a program. It's more driven by the strategies, the types of activities, assignments, tasks that the students are given. So as Dr. Morrison was just indicating, the level of rigor is going to be increased across the board, but it's not necessarily being driven by a need to go out and invest in a program to deliver that.
You mentioned the population rate making the 140 mark. Is that the biggest it's ever been this year?
Yes, absolutely. Very pleased with that.
Of course, and I just wanted to be clear, those 96 vacancies, those are all teacher vacancies across the district, just 96 teachers?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And did you do anything different this year? I know that you always go after colleges and things like that to try to get the most effective teachers. Did you do anything this year to try to attract, more effective teachers as we, go?
Yes, we were much more intentional about advertising in districts and in geographies where we thought we could take advantage of poorer economic environments. So North Carolina and Charlotte-Mecklenburg has benefited coming out of the recession faster than some other jurisdictions. And so we were targeted in our selection around advertising for teacher candidates.
And what states did you perform?
We were in Nevada, we were in Michigan, we were up in the Northeast as well.
How many additional teachers are we going to have this year? And so what's the teacher total compared to last year and maybe the year before?
So our teacher ratios rise with student enrollment. It's a specific relationship. So if we're up about 2,000 students, so that's a percentage. So we're probably about maybe 0.5% up on teacher enrollment, number of teachers that are working in the district. But I can give you that number specifically.
We also added ninth grade teachers thanks to the budget passed by our board to lower class sizes at the ninth grade level, so that brought in an additional 60 teachers.
That's right.
So that's the only, ninth grade is the only place where the class size has shifted then between the last 3 years or so?
Not the last 3 years, but this year. Last year there was a material change in the elementary school ratio from the state.
Question, I don't know if it's for Guy or Scott, but Guy mentioned it, so start with you. Torrance Creek, I get that. Elmore Road, what's going on there? Maybe Scott, could be enrollment, all enrollment. Is there growth up there or what?
I would defer that to Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, we've historically had, the last couple of years, high growth at Almar Road. We have an IB program there as well that's been successful. So yes, we have seen not only in the middle school, but the elementary school as well. We'll certainly be seeing that, in our high schools moving forward. We have a new high school with Rocky River. Obviously, it's been around for a couple of years, but we'll certainly well poised to be able to absorb that growth at the high school level as well.
The BYOT, can you explain? I know you wanted to implement it by mid-September. Just to be clear, does that mean that students can bring their technology and they can be hooked up inside the classroom? I guess all the schools, Wi-Fi is ready. I just wanted to be clear about that. Is that right?
We begin with a pilot in September. Schools will need to show that they have a plan for implementation, and they're prepared to support teachers with classroom management of these devices. We don't have an exact number yet because we'll wait for the readiness assessments to come back, and we'll review those with zone superintendents, and we'll select the pilot schools. If I had to guess, I'd say it would be 20 to 25 schools district-wide, spread over 5 zones. And as I said, we'll run that pilot for at least 60 days. And we'll make the assessment in November to see how well we did. What problems did we encounter? What did we learn that we did not know? And then around Thanksgiving, hopefully before Thanksgiving, we can announce the next set of schools that we will roll out with BYOT. So what we're doing now, we already have a guest wireless network that will be available district-wide, but we will not turn it on district-wide. We'll turn it on as schools are ready. And this is an opt-in. It's not a requirement. When you see the excitement and the plan and how technology can help with instruction, and you see those plans by those schools, then you know those schools are ready. And when they're ready, it will be successful.
I'm sorry, did you say so the Wi-Fi is pretty much ready to go?
It is ready. The guest wireless network is ready.
Okay. At all schools?
Yes.
And I have another question. I understand that textbooks, I guess, 6th and 7th grade social studies curriculum has changed, but the state did not have enough money to give you guys the textbooks to go along with that change in curriculum. So now teachers are having to, be more creative in trying to teach that new curriculum. I understand that was an effect of the budget cut. Just want to know, is there anything else that CMS is suffering from, or that you could have had this year if the money was there from the state? Just wanted to know, is there anything that we need to know about that you're lacking because of budget cuts?
And I would also say that the 6th and 7th grade social studies doesn't necessarily have an unhappy ending. The investment in social studies textbook is not likely the direction this district would want to go in as we move further and further into a digital environment. We have partnerships like the one we have with Discovery Ed, where every student and teacher has a license that can access the real-time information available in Discovery Ed in both social studies as well as the humanities and obviously in our STEM fields. We haven't done a science textbook adoption, grades K-8, and have not suffered as a result of that. So I would answer that response. You are correct that in 6th and 7th grade, some of the content has moved from one grade level to the next, and we are addressing that with a team of teachers who worked this summer to prepare curriculum resources to support our middle school social studies teachers. We will also have a classroom set of books off grade level in appropriate classes so that teachers can reference content that say move from 6th to 7th or 7th to 6th. But it wasn't a wholesale change in the content, so we are going to be able to adapt. And I think it will be interesting for us to see where the direction our State Board of Education takes with future adoptions, because we will have English adoption coming up in 2 years, as well as math on the horizon, to see if we in fact move to more of a digital approach or solution to that. So in some ways, I'm glad we haven't made a state or a local investment in actual textbooks, but we do want to make sure in that transition our teachers feel like they know where to go for resources.
So is there anything else that you guys are lacking this year because of any budget cuts, anything done from the state?
I think we've been blessed with our school board support to invest some of our local dollars in textbooks, particularly for advanced placement courses for this year. So where the state has not provided those dollars for textbooks for the last 3 years, our local board has been able to create funding for us to support some of those low enrollment classes, but that are still important to have textbooks for. So I don't see a gap right now because our school board has been able to backfill with county commission support for our local budget to keep that from happening. Had that not been the case, we would have some gaps.